What's going on, guys? I'm back here with a quick review on the B52-H. It's finally come to War Thunder, and this plane is pretty darn neat. I've been waiting on it for not too long, admittedly, because I never thought they would actually add it. And would I rather have had the Peacemaker be added first? Absolutely. But this is what we get, so this is what we're going to review. Now, how does the B52 perform? Well, as a bomber, great. As a fighter, awful. Who would have thought? The B52 gets a full ballistics computer, which makes it really good for, well, dropping bombs. It also gets a pretty decent RWR in the bands of E and J. It's not perfect. It's not like, the full, missile approach warning system or anything like that, but it's still pretty darn good. And it does have a radar modeled, interestingly enough, but it can't be used. I didn't even realize it had a radar model until I looked at this view. It also gets a full thermal imaging camera, thermal targeting camera, and that can be pretty useful in sim. But it doesn't really have much of a use case in ground battles or in air realistic. In ground battles, you could probably use it to spot enemies, but really, I don't know. The B52 gets a pretty decent loadout with 500-pound, 750-pound, and 2,000-pound bombs that can absolutely carpet bomb the enemy team. Now, for air battles, how do you fly this plane? Well, of course, you get a strategic bomber spawn. Every single match, you'll get an air spawn. So what's the best strat? In my opinion, is to go about to 30,000 feet. I like to go 32,000 feet and try and just bomb bases. And if for whatever reason your team beats you to those bases, you can also bomb all the entrenched ground targets that are just scattered around the map. And you, with the 2,000-pound bombs, can get pretty easy multi-kills with only one bomb if you have good enough placement. Now, carpet bombing is probably the best strat. A lot of people recommend to use the 750-pound bomb. I personally prefer the 2,000-pound bomb because it has a much better field of destruction and is much more forgiving on where you place your bomb. And at 32,000 feet, it's kind of hard to get super precise with it. Now, for defensive armament, it gets 192 flares and 1,000 chaff, so you'll have no problem with any missiles in the game whatsoever. You just really have to worry about F-104s and MiG-21s ruining your day, because they will. So, overall, the B-52 is a great plane, but how does it work in ground battles? Well, sadly, I don't really have any 8.7 ground loadout, so I just have to go off of what other people are saying and observing, and that is, it's pretty decent, but just the lack of maneuverability and it just being a boat makes it hard to get bombs on target, and just how small the maps are, it's a little bit cumbersome to use, but it does pretty good. Now, for sim, I have not been able to get into a sim match yet, but for advice for how to fly in sim, I would recommend going to about 32,000 feet and bombing enemy airfields. That would get you the most spawn, and at that altitude with chaff and flares, I don't think the anti-air can hit you. I'm pretty sure you are out of range. I could be wrong, but with other planes, I do that just fine. It might be a little bit different for the B52 just because of how big it really is. The biggest flaw with the B52 is it only has only one defensive gun, and it's only facing the rear, and it doesn't have that big of a field of view. So you can only shoot down planes that are directly behind you, which happens actually pretty often, but there's a lot of times where there will be a MiG-21 that's like at 20,000 feet, and he sees you, and he'll pull up and just absolutely rock your world, and you can't do anything to stop him. And it's pretty darn annoying, but that's how this game works. The B52 is now officially War Thunder's biggest payload holding, widest wingspan, and most engines on any aircraft in the game. So it is safe to say that this thing is a beast. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe. I just hit 61 subs, so if we can get it up to 100, I will be really happy. Hope you have a good one, and I'm going to add in some bonus photos that I've taken of the B-52 personally near where I live. Hope you have a good one. Bye.